I think we are talking about sustainability and digital transformation. And if I just look at sustainability, one of the things is diversity that they look at within sustainability. In our previous session, it was only a men's session, and now you see only two women here. So I think perfect balance between the sessions. On that note, really a privilege to be talking to you, ma'am. You know, leading one of the largest insurance company in the country. And first, before I start, you know, your leadership, how are you looking at the organization, you know, as a woman leader? We see now a lot of women heading the large public sector organization, but how has your journey been? And, you know, how are you looking at from the leadership role here?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, this is
Thanks for the opportunity. So yes, so the journey has been very pleasant, very challenging also. And I mean, right from the beginning, I think we have seen times where women were definitely not considered to be equals. From there to today, where women are actually dominating the management seats in New India. We have around 9 out of 11 executives, women executives. I am accompanied by 2 women here. So that 9 out of 11 executives are women. Most decisions are taken today by women. Having said that, I feel that somehow, because I think as we evolve, we also should realize where mistakes were done or where we shouldn't be repeating the same thing. So I believe in gender diversity. And I believe that men and women are required to make anything a success, and both of the genders have unique strengths. So I think that is required, and that is something that we'll push forward. It's just coincidence that right now we have 9 out of 11 in the executive cadre as women. So I think if you ask about my journey, it has been very exciting, very challenging, and I always had this belief that I'm no less than anybody else. And I think that belief somewhere translated into actions. I could sort of think about, I used to think about many things which were not the normal way people thought about in our business, and I had the, I would say I had the boldness to even tell it, whether it's to my boss or in any open conversation. I would say that we could do it this way also, and we were many times snubbed for it. And then eventually when I got to the seat, I did it the way I felt was right, and the whole industry accepted it. So I feel that yes, so what it has taught me is that we need to be a little open with our people who are our juniors, whom we mentor, and give equal weightage to people of all age groups, people with different levels of experience. And so I think that it really helps you, this entire journey. And I feel the more challenges you've had, whether it is or because of your gender, whether it's because of the operational challenges, any other issues that you've had, is somewhere or the other, it shapes your leadership style, it shapes the way you think, and it shapes the strong aggression with which you can also compete in the market.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure it's inspiring to a lot of other people who are here in the audience. We've seen, this has been an age of change, not only this year, but earlier years that we see. And like DNB is like more than 180 years old, and we've gone through different cycles of change, spun off different companies which are now much larger than us, all of that series of change. And it's been now, the digital transformation is very critical, right? I mean, India has been leading with the UPI, etc. that we're doing. So insurance, I think digital transformation in insurance company has been key. So how do you look at digital transformation, and how do you look at moving? New India is also quite old, a legacy, very strong institution with strong culture, etc. So how do you look at digital transformation, and how are you ensuring that people down also believe in it and move with what is required?
Yeah. So digital transformation is a reality which I feel organizations, old, young, need to understand and adapt. And I feel that New India is 106 years, or we have stepped into the 107th year now, and we have our own legacy issues definitely with regards to how we handle our data with our IT infrastructure. We do have our own legacy issues, but having said that, I think we do have a roadmap which is very well defined, and which is on which we periodically report to the board on whether it's IT initiative, whether we are taking the right digital initiatives in order to be more relevant to the customer, to make our products and be able to compete in the market, to make it easy for the customer to reach us, access our products. So this is an ongoing thing, and we have a separate general manager who handles digital innovation and futuristic technologies in India. So I think that is big enough for me to tell you, that what is the importance we give. We have another GM handling legacy issues, IT hardware and the typical procurement and things. And we have another GM just handling digital technologies and automation and futuristic innovations in relating to technology. So we give that level of importance to this subject. And I think as a institution that has existed for 106 years and with a proven way of working, it's a real challenge, because not only do you need to introduce the technology, and you need to be competing with the nimble-footed insurers of today who are just born or just less than a decade old, who don't have this baggage, who have that extra advantage of having started late and into the latest in technology, they can move fast. So you have to compete with them and do better than them, and New India has done all of that. We still have a market share of 15.51. The point is that we want to keep maintaining it, be at the top always, and that requires that we need to see the changes in the ecosystem, and digital transformation is the most important change that is happening, and which affects every business in the country. Luckily, on a very optimistic note, we are in a country like India, where we have the entire skilled workforce with you. We are recruiting now, and we are recruiting specialized skill sets. So most of our recruitments now are around technology. We are picking up skilled resources, and the earlier ones which are there, because we need to upskill them. So training has become a very important activity. It has become a vertical by itself. We send people on training to ensure that they pick up the nuances of the latest digital technologies, and at the same time, when we are adapting them, they're able to accept and go ahead with them very fast. So these are the things we need to, first of all, the leadership needs to have that sense of changing times and have the thrust towards the technology, needs to embrace the change and motivate our workforce towards it, and also create that enablement wherein people are able to appreciate it by upskilling, by recruiting new people who are able to understand the technological changes very fast.
And ma'am, your team, like even at the grassroots level, it's quite a large employer supporting you in this initiative of the transformation that you're driving from the top.
Yes, they are, because we make it a very important that all our management teams, we speak to our teams regularly on VC. Most of the times it's at least once a week our GMs connect with our teams on VC, and we encourage them to adapt to these changes and to the changes that we bring about at the head office, pushing them down to the last level. And we do encourage them to see that they change their way of working, and close monitoring of the way we work in our operations. I think that has helped in a big way. A regular dialogue with people to the last mile. I have frequent visits to most of our offices. Apart from that, our senior management keeps talking to them on a very regular basis, and this brings in that change that we want to see.
So moving on from digital transformation, another thing that all companies now are talking about or focusing on is sustainability. India, of course, has taken up a target of being net zero by 2070, but there's a lot of social community, a lot of social, activity that is included in the entire sustainability chain. So how do you look at sustainability for New India?
Yeah, so New India, as of now, when you talk about sustainability, we do CSR activities which support entirely ESG initiatives, and we all our entire CSR funds are towards that. That apart, even as a insurer, we promote writing the the environment-friendly industries like solar, like wind. And I think now with the increasing thrust on these kind of industries where a lot of capital is being invested, banks are giving loans, I think insurance is the need of the hour for these industries, and New India is totally committed to providing that kind of financial inclusion for these people by way of insurance. And there we are heavily invested into these industries.
So, ma'am, I just also want you, to answer a question on SME. I know it's not here, but I know you're passionately driving the SME growth. So, what are the initiatives that you're taking, and why do you think they're so critical? We all talk about SME being, driving the economy, etc., contributing a large share to the GDP. So, what are you looking at, doing and enabling them from your organization?
Yeah. For the last 1 year, we have been pushing this SME agenda very aggressively in New India. In fact, this from April 1, we declared this year as the year of the MSME for New India, wherein an entire thrust is given to the segment. We have a separate vertical for MSME within New India. We have released a few products which is totally customized for MSME needs for the micro, the small, medium industries, and we see to it that across sum assureds, across the level of insurance protection you need, we are able to provide that customized protection to them, whether people operate from home, the unorganized kind of sector, or whether they are having, physical infrastructure and all of that. So we have products that can cater to all these kind of requirements, and we have put targets to our workforce for getting these never insured business into the insurance net. So I feel that is a way we could contribute towards better penetration, towards getting these people into the insurance net. Because here I think there's a lot of misawareness, unawareness around insurance, about what insurance actually supports and what they can get from it. So I think we attend a lot of these seminars. We have a lot of workshops wherein we sort of demystify the concepts of insurance and how it can help them. The fact that insurance is a USP and the only financial product that can come to the aid of an MSME at the time of distress, instead of the MSME, completely pledging his entire family silver and going into a huge probability of ruin. I think it's better that insurance is a much better product, wherein you invest a little bit into buying the policy, and on a very punishing day when there's a cat loss, or when you have a huge loss, insurance comes to your rescue and you go back to the position that you were before the loss. So I think this is something we are driving at. We've also tried bank assurance as a route, retail as a thrust area for us in New India. So this is something we speak day in, day out. Anything that is concerning MSME is of interest to us.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's really interesting and good to know. Ma'am, looking at, the insurance sector has been evolving because the risks have been changing, over the period of time. So what we need is, like all organizations, looking at future ready. We can't predict the future, but how are we getting future ready? And talent forms the base of it. So how are you looking at a workforce of the future? What kind of skills, etc., that you're recruiting? I know you mentioned about more tech savvy, the new graduates you're looking at. But how do you look at the future workforce? What skill sets, which need not be only technical, leadership, etc., that you're looking at for a future?
Yeah. So I already told you about the skill set part, which can be given by way of training, and it also always depends on how fast people adopt to that training. Apart from that, I think culture is a very important part of building a workforce that is future ready. And we are at New India driving this change, wherein we are trying to make our we've got a big young population of officers who are extremely talented. And we keep talking to them daily. We listen to their ideas. In fact, whenever I have a brainstorming session, I ensure that the last mile in the room, which is possibly a youngster who's just joined a year ago or less than that, also gets equal, weightage, gets equally listened to as the oldest member in that room. And then we take each of these ideas very seriously, because I seriously believe that the youngsters who can, relate to the digital mindset of the millennials, of the, of the youngsters today, which form 60% of our customer base. If you don't listen to what they need and how they look at insurance and how insurance should be served to them, I think you're missing a very, very big, a part of the entire requirement. And therefore, we make it a point as a culture that each of our officers make it, that our youngsters down the line are able to express themselves, able to tell what they want and what kind of an environment they would love to work in, try and create that environment for them. I think there's a lot of effort going in that direction, and I think this would be the foundation for an organization that could be digital savvy, a workforce that could be completely motivated and raring to go. And when we always, win over the private sector, we are leading and we keep the flag flying high always. I think that is something, and the new Indian spirit that our youngsters have from the day they join New India, the entry-level training, which I have taken it on myself to design the entire curriculum for the entry-level training. We have expanded the training to double the time that it was before, so that we are able to put soft skills, customer sensitization, and digital transformation as a part of that training. I think this all helps, and regular refreshers, speaking to them regularly at various fora. This has helped, and I feel this is how it will continue. It cannot be an overnight change. It has to be gradual.
So, just moving on to the last question, ma'am, and more at a slightly generic level, the PSUs have done a lot. I mean, they contribute a lot to India's GDP, and they've been growing phenomenally. Most of them have been doing pretty well. They employ a lot of people. But we are also going through a lot of change. As you mentioned in your, culture plays a very important role of it. But how do you think PSUs would evolve in the, if you take a 10-year viewpoint, right? Mm-hmm. And you could use your own company, where do you think it will be? What would it look like? Any thoughts?
I feel PSUs will be very, very strong 10 years down the line. How, like today, I think we are much stronger than what we were 10 years ago. And I can share with you New India's experience that the kind of work that PSUs do, and that I don't think in private sector they will even dream of doing. Like when we had COVID, we brought out new covers for the health workers on the forefront, knowing fully well the kind of risk that was associated. Because I think about PSUs, it's not only about being a commercial entity. We need to create value, and we are strongly monitored for that. We are regulated, and we are more answerable to many agencies than private sector. But at the same time, we also have a social objective. We need to go hand in hand with the government. So I think as long as the government has got good policies, good monitoring systems, and gives us that space to expand, which currently the last 10 years, I think the government has given us that space and given us every opportunity to show that how different we are from other institutions in the same industry, and how we make a difference to our customer and to any general Indian on the street. When we bring out policies for COVID, when we are able to take that on, we're able to hold hands of the government, support them in all these endeavors. I think this is something which only PSUs can do, and I see a very, very strong PSU ecosystem 10 years from now.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it's a very good note to end this discussion. Thank you for your thoughts. With that, we'll bring this session to a close.